My name is Mike Bursaw, and a lot of you know me as a Mystery Mike. And this is my 30th VoucherCon, but my first virtual one. I'm the interim board chair for your national board, and I hope you're having a great time. This is a live webcast. It's being recorded, and a replay will be made available for later, so you can get to it at a later date. Please get comfortable. There's a lot of information to cover today, but it's very important information. So we're not going to waste your time, but we're going to explain to you some of the changes and some of the things that are going on. I'm not a professional speaker, so I'm going to have to follow my notes because there's a lot to cover. This past year has been challenging for the entire world. And I believe there's a silver lining in everything, and that from this, change will happen. We will find good things, and something better will come out of this. VoucherCon 2020 has faced a unique set of challenges this year created by today's situation. Ray James and Michelle Dreyer and their entire team have done a remarkable job of reinventing VoucherCon to a virtual platform in a short amount of time. This is the first time we've ever had somebody plan 2 VoucherCons within a couple of months, 2 different VoucherCons. We should all be very proud and very thankful to this group that took on these challenges so that we could do something we all love, which is attend a VoucherCon. Told you I got a lot of notes. Board's had a lot of activity in the last couple of months. We've been pretty busy. We've adopted and revised a new code of conduct and an anti-harassment policy. We've started to make changes in rules and bylaws, and also on how we work with local operating committees in each VoucherCon location. We've drafted what we call a new partnership agreement for producing VoucherCons each year, and we'll test this concept with San Diego in 23 and Nashville in 24. This agreement will help us do a better job of consistently replicating and delivering the best from each VoucherCon year after year. We've divided the tasks associated with the VoucherCon into 3 groups. National will be responsible for certain things. The local team will be responsible for a different set of things. And then there will be different tasks that we'll collaborate on together. We looked at this and said, change is important, and how we do things can be improved. And I've been co-chair of a couple of VoucherCons and involved as a committee member and a mentor on some other ones. And I believe that the weight and the enormity of some of the VoucherCons, taking that on as a chair or co-chair, is a ton of work. And if we share that between national and local operating committees, we can make things much better. And I believe more people will step forward and say, I'd like to host a VoucherCon. Give me some information, and how would you help us? And all this will be available for people. We're gonna, in New Orleans, we'll go right back to having VoucherCon 101 again. We'll have a meeting where, in case people wanna step forward and say, I'm interested in sponsoring a VoucherCon, what do I do? Who do I talk to? We will get you information soon of someone you can talk to on the board who will be the chair of our mentoring committee, and they can help you out. All of for about 60% of you voted on the bylaws and the rule updates. All of them passed with a majority of between 88 to 99%. It was a little different than how we normally do the voting, because this is not an in-person meeting where we're all sitting in a room and we can have some back and forth discussion. But with the overwhelming amount of votes in favor of the changes we wanted to make, we felt that we were able to do this in the spirit and intent of how we've done VoucherCon meetings in the past and voted on rule changes and bylaw changes. But there's some very important ones that we're doing this year. You've now, with this, this takes effect this year with this VoucherCon, you're allowing us to hire an administrator. I've been on a number of not-for-profit boards and profit boards over the last 35 years. And in all cases, we had one person who was the glue, was the center was the person who kept track of all the information so that going forward, we could always improve on what we've done. So you've allowed us to look into hiring and recruiting and hiring an administrator. Be a part-time job in the beginning. We want somebody with a lot of experience in VoucherCons and other type of events like that. Someone that will work well with other people, someone who will be the glue to bring people together, to be a good listener. You've also allowed us to, with the vote, have create a non-voting ex officio past president to serve a one-year term in an advisory capacity. Our institutional knowledge has been, in a lot of cases, folklore, legend, and word of mouth, and then we invented the best practice manual. But there's a lot more to be done. There is standard operating procedures to be written and put in place for all the different committees we have and all the different events and things we do. So we lose a lot of institutional knowledge. This is just one way for us to continue to use the knowledge of a past president who just served as the president for 2 years. You also voted on that. And keep them on board in an advisory capacity. They will not vote, but we want them to share their knowledge and their experience and help us continue to grow and get better. We've done some other things like change the language in the bylaws from event to convention. You voted on a rule and approved it to change and reflect the winner of the David Thompson Award before the event, before the convention. We're going to announce it ahead of time and let people know who won it. In a little while, we can talk about this year's winner. We also put a change in that allows us to vet and work harder to get more board members when we need them. We have to just hope that someone will stand up at the members meeting and say they want to be part of the board, or hope that someone comes to a board and puts their name in. We'd like to have a vetting process. We started this a couple of years ago. It wasn't a rule, but we wanted to be able to talk to a lot of different people and maybe even recruit some people. And this gives us the ability to do this so that when we come to the members meeting, we've vetted this group of nominees. We've talked to them. We've talked to other people about them. And they help fill particular needs we have. Every board I've been on, we've had accountants, we've had lawyers, we've had human relations people, we've had crisis management, and we don't always have those jobs filled on our board. This will give us a chance to recruit people with the skill levels and the expertise and experience that we don't have and we'd like to have to build a better VoucherCon. Also, we created a standing rule which stipulates that in the contracts for all the local operating committees, the partnership agreements, they are required to adopt the code of conduct and the anti-harassment policy we passed, and to have the members at the time of registration read it and agree to it to come to the convention. Your safety, your welfare, and your comfort is very, very important to us. And we're going to keep moving and making it a better situation for everyone. I've heard people comment about situations in the past where somebody may have gotten ill at the convention or sick or whatever, and they didn't know who to go to, who to talk to. We're going to be taking care of that and get that information out. We're going to probably put together a new committee that has to do with safety and security, and make sure that coming into next year's convention, you'll know if a friend of yours needs assistance, who to talk to, who to get a hold of, and how to help them immediately. What else have we got? Another one is we kind of go feast and famine when it comes to having a location for a VoucherCon. So we put a rule change in that if at a general members meeting, a location for an upcoming annual event has not been identified, the board can step in, initiate, and secure an annual event location. We've done that already now with San Diego and with for 2023, and Nashville, Tennessee for 2024. We need to have locations in the pipeline and secured, especially now because a lot of conventions and meetings have been kicked back on the calendar. We want to make sure in the future that there's room for us to hold our conventions in hotels that are big enough and have the facilities to take care of all of our needs. Now, the bylaw changes to take effect at BoucherCon 2021. We have kind of an archaic rule that says we want to introduce a change 1 year, but we can't vote on it for a whole year. Now, maybe that was good in 1960, whenever we started. But today, with internet and all the social media and all the ability to quickly get to people, there's no reason we have to wait a year to do something. I've been in lots of companies, I've managed them, I've owned them, and companies can't wait a year to change something that's important, integral, and necessary. So next year, one of those changes that'll take effect is that if we receive a majority of the member votes at the general members meeting, that bylaw shall be approved and adopted at that general members meeting for that year and going forward. This allows us to not wait a whole year to enact a really good idea or a change is necessary. Also, the last one that I see on here is that we want to establish a bylaw to read that the board may appoint the officers on the board to a 2-year term instead of a 1. I've never been in a company where you change management every year. It's been very hard when I've been on the board, because you lose institutional knowledge, you lose continuity, and we believe that by doing this, it'll help us do a better job for all of you. We also want to thank everybody who has worked on the board in this past year, particularly the members that have left the board. Helen Nelson, Oline Cogdill, Marjorie Flax, Brian Quartermas, Greg Heron, Maddie James, and Nikki Benani have done a wonderful job for our board this last year, and we want to thank them for all their contributions and everything they've done for us. I'm probably going a lot faster than they've allowed us an hour for this. I'm not sure we're going to need it. We've already talked about when we were looking for potential board members in the future that there were certain skill levels and expertise and experience we were looking for. And we were very lucky this year to find people to help fill some of those slots that we had some deficiencies in. The additional brand new board members that you voted in, we brought on for specific reasons. I'm going to start with David Brown. He's been a publicist for 20 years. Currently is with Atria, Simon & Schuster. His challenge will be to take a look at our publicity and marketing efforts and say, how do we improve? How do we do a better job on social media? Susan Sella will be a new board member, and she's got 22 years as an IT professional. We need some help there, to be honest. Larry Gandel, who's attended every BoucherCon for the last 22 years. He's a doctor, he's an oncologist, and he's also the assistant editor of Deadly Pleasures Mystery Magazine. We've invited and you've accepted Angie Kim as on the board. She's an author, a former trial lawyer, a management consultant at McKinsey, and the co-founder of a software company with over 400 employees. Kimberly Crable has agreed to join the board, and she's a longtime BoucherCon attendee. She's a pediatric cardiologist, and as a physician, she can also bring to the event her medical knowledge, as can Larry, to help determine what's responsible, what the response could and can be taken for an individual who gets ill or injured during the conference. Kirk Chirac. Kirk has an MBA in finance and economics, I believe, from TCU. He's got 25 years in sales management, including 10 years as a corporate vice president. And he's currently our interim treasurer. And Kim Keyline, who will be the chair of BoucherCon 2023 in San Diego, will represent that local operating committee. on our board. What you need to know as members too is that we have committees every year. We have I'm going to name a couple of them. We have a finance committee. We have a history committee. We have a tech committee. We have a publicity committee. And we have people on the board on that. But there's a lot to do in each of those. And what we'd like to do is on every board I've been on in the past, the committees that are set up are allowed to have committee members who are not on the board of directors or have votes on the board. So once we get those committee chairs put together after our next VoucherCon board meeting, we will post what those committees are and post what their responsibilities are. And if you have the experience and expertise and knowledge and desire to help us, you'll be able to contact those committee chairs and talk to them about that. It's up to each of the committee chairs who they choose from the group of individuals who'd like to help, how many members they'd like to have. We think it's a great way to get more people involved in your VoucherCon because it's your VoucherCon. It doesn't belong to the board members. We just represent you. What else we got? This year's David Thompson Award winner is Al Abramson. I've worked with Al off and on for, I don't know, seems like decades. He was the chair of Madison in 2006. He was the chair of Albany in 2013. And when we needed a chair, an interim chair to step in Raleigh in 2015, Al was there. Al's been on numerous VoucherCon committees at the local level. He was the board chair on the national level. He's helped out with tons of them. He's one of those guys that sometimes when an opportunity is there, it's the people that take the step forward and said, I'll help, are the ones that are the biggest and best at working and getting it done. Al doesn't know how to say no. He's helped everybody on almost every convention I can think of. And I've been honored to know him and work with him. And I couldn't be more happy that he won the David Thompson Award because he typifies everything about the David Thompson Award. And now we'll hear from Al.
Thanks, Mike. And thank the board for voting me this honor. And I got involved, it was 20 odd years ago with VoucherCon, some of them very odd. But I got involved because I love this event. And I also knew that the only way it would continue and to be as strong as it's been for more than 50 years now is if people stepped up and volunteered their time. And in particular, I can remember a couple of handsome young booksellers coming up to me in Madison and saying, we want to put on a VoucherCon in Indiana. They had more hair then, but still. They stepped up because they wanted this organization to continue. As Mike said, I didn't know how to say no, but as I look at even the list of people who are on this meeting, I see a lot of people who have never said no. I see a lot of people who have helped this organization continue and thrive. And although you said it, I'll echo what you said about the wonderful team in Sacramento. Because Michelle and Ray and their team have done something that nobody has done before, and they deserve a virtual beer, at least, from all of us. I will accept this award really in honor of all the volunteers who for so many years have made this event the premier event in the mystery community. And I hope that 50 years from now, somebody will still be saying the same thing. Thank you all.
Thanks, Al. Great job. I've just got couple comments left. And believe it or not, we'll get you out of here in about 30 minutes. We're going to have a survey after this is done. A few days from now, it'll be out. And we'd love to have your comments about this virtual VoucherCon. And we're going to read them over. We're going to look at them because in the silver lining we talked about earlier, we've learned some things. We've pushed the envelope a little bit. We found out, yes, we can do virtual interviews. And believe me, in New Orleans, we will do some virtual interviews. Some great ideas came out of Sacramento and the Sacramento team. They have this voter's guide that they put on the website. I thought was fabulous. And we will have a voter's guide on the website in New Orleans. I can say that because I've been lucky enough to work with Connie Perry and Heather Graham again, and we're the co-chairs for New Orleans. And we're truly looking forward to seeing you all in New Orleans. In closure, I'd like to just say a couple of things about this board. Is one of the strongest boards I've been on of all the different types of boards I've been on. I think we've added the talent we need with insight and experience to make BoucherCon a better event for you. We're committed to make it a better event. We want your experience. We want you to come out and say, it's the best BoucherCon I've had each and every year. We want to improve. We want to listen to you. Believe me, when you fill out the surveys, we read them. We find out we can't do exactly everything everyone wants, but we're trying to make sure that we get the biggest issues that have come up from the most people handled every year and improved for the following year. There's a Japanese word I learned a long time ago that I think they put it together and used it a lot in the auto industry, which is kaizen. At least that's the way I heard it pronounced. And the way I heard it explained was it means continuous improvement. Our board will work for continuous improvement in BoucherCon to make it your best event, the one you want to talk about, the one you remember, and give you all the opportunities to do the things you'd like to do at a BoucherCon. So when the committee things come out, help us, participate. Everything gets better for all of us, individually and collectively, when we all work together. There's no one person here who makes all the rules or makes all the decisions. They'll be delegated all down to committee levels, and then they're going to go out to you in most cases, and you'll vote on them. Please help us make your convention a better place every single year. 25 minutes. Everybody can go ahead and prepare before the next panel. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your BoucherCon, and thank you for being part of the first ever virtual BoucherCon. Have a great day. Bye.